whole lot of loving is what we'll be bringing. We'll make you happy.
Hello and welcome, bienvenidos, to Schools with Heart. I'm Olivia LaField, and today we continue with Community Part 4 of creating a class that feels like home. We left off talking about the qualities required to be a task manager, and I shared that without committed task managers, I cannot imagine being able to create an upper grades class that truly feels like home. I believe you can create that class with the little ones without task managers, but as our students get older, it's more and more difficult to create a homogeneous classroom. The vast majority of my experience is with middle school students, but this year I did introduce community to our 5th and 6th graders, and it's working out quite well. We're in the early stages, and the task managers are still learning to build community with their groups. But so far, it's clear to me that mature 5th and 6th graders are definitely capable of being extraordinary task managers. I'd love to see community in the public high schools, but as you know, very seldom do students spend more than one period with each of their many teachers, thus rendering it impossible to build community in a small group setting. If any of you are watching our secondary teachers who are interested in implementing a community focus, please let me know what and how you're doing so I can tell everyone. It's quite possible in secondary that you wouldn't need task managers. However, your backbone criteria would be exactly the same. For in Peck's book, the community focus that he started on a worldwide level used exclusively the 7 discs that I drew from his book. I merely applied them to children and added the task manager component. In today's video, I'm going to share some of the struggles you're sure to encounter as you introduce community to your students. The first one that comes to mind are students who resist doing what a peer, in this case their task manager, asks them to do. I find that to be true with older boys especially. The good news is that in almost every case over the years, we have worked through that challenge and come out victorious. As I'm introducing the role of the task manager to the whole class, I tell my students that it's very understandable that up to this point that they haven't liked someone of their age group telling them what to do. But I assure them that their task manager doesn't want to tell them what to do. That's not happy. That makes their job hard. The task manager will politely and respectfully ask them to do something. Big difference. The task manager's job is not to control them. The task manager's job is to help them. Big difference. This is critically important. My students learn that if they do what their task manager asks them to do the first time with the right heart, all will go well. They will be controlling themselves. No one will have to ask them twice. No one will have to control them. The problems arise when they don't control themselves, when they don't respect themselves enough to respect the task manager's requests. The bottom line of self-respect depends on whether or not they decide to do the right thing, one choice at a time. So let's say a task manager has someone in the group who stubbornly refuses to listen respectfully and do the right thing. This just happened in my school last week with an 8th grader. After it went on for a full week, the task manager asked for help. I quietly went over to the student, and without interrupting the lesson, I quietly and respectfully asked him to gather his things and follow me to the back of the room where he would be sitting alone. Yes, sitting alone. The hope is that he will decide to cooperate and will immediately be welcomed back into the group. This particular student I'm talking about is one of my challenges this year, and he is no small challenge. I have no way of predicting the outcome because his walls are very high. It may be that he'll spend most of the year by himself. Have I ever had that happen? No more than a few times in over 30 years, and that's really good news. Over time, as resistant students see how happy it is to be in a group that's helping each other, working as a team, and building community, they lower their defenses and choose happiness over suffering. I constantly remind the task manager of that student to make sure that they know they're missed and that the group wants them back. This approach is what I call tough love, never punishment. The student must not feel that they are being unjustly isolated. They must be told that it was their choice that led to their being excluded from the group, that choices always lead to consequences. The sooner a resistant student finally admits that the blame is on them and not on anyone else, the sooner they'll return to their group and cooperate. That's when they begin to know what it means to be responsible for their choices. Huge character lesson, right? Our job with our challenges is first, last, and in between to patiently, day after day after day, make sure we treat them with respect and the assurance that our sole desire is to help them. This boy will graduate in June, but until the last day I will persist and I will fight the good fight on his behalf. Perhaps I won't win, but I'll know in my heart that I did my best. Now for more on the role of the task manager. The big picture for the task manager is to lead their group to reach community. This might seem like a monumental task, but when everyone in the group is cooperating and following the discs, it just happens naturally. Suddenly one day they look around and it dawns on them. They feel like a family. Oh, and that is a wonderful day. Task manager comes to me privately and tells me, Miss LaField, I think we reached community. Of course, I knew they did before they did, but I let them figure that out. It's so much more powerful that way. And once they're all sure that they're a true community, they announce it with a celebration during which the whole class participates. I'll tell you more about that later. Let's talk now more about how the group goes about building community. In the early days of creating caring communities and continuing today, I made sure that every Monday we dedicated at least 15 minutes to discussing their progress and setting weekly goals to work on. In Book 3, I included an activity sheet they used to discuss each of the discs and how they're doing on each one. So I'm going to show you here. This is our weekly goals activity. Our goal for the week, today's observations, or Tuesday observations, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Friday is the weekend review. They write how they did. And then I'm coming up to talk about the task manager evaluation. See, everything, well, maybe not everything, but so much of what you need to start community is in Book 3 here. And this is a task manager must. Are we a community? Is everyone committed to reaching community? And that's all on the community, but there's so much more that I'll be teaching you in the days to come. The task manager leads the discussion, writes down the weekly goals, and leaves them in plain view for everyone to see. Then, when someone does something that is obviously a choice to work on a particular goal, the task manager, or anyone else in the group for that matter, hopefully sees the positive goal victory and commends the person for everyone to hear. In this way, all group members are supporting one another as well as inspiring one another, one choice at a time. This way, the group continues to build community until they finally reach community. Serious goal setting is the #1 path to community. The last few minutes of the day, when everyone's seated, quiet, and ready to go, the task manager quickly asks the members to assess their progress that day. If there's time, I offer a chance for task managers to proudly applaud their group's performance on a particular goal. Every morning for the rest of the week, we make time to focus on that day's goals. Obviously, the goals can change from day to day, but the point is that everyone in the group knows the clearly defined goal or goals for the week. A great task manager will even quiz members from time to time during the day to make sure everyone remembers the goals. One outstanding way for a group to build community is to plan activities where the group works together on a particular project. The ideas for this are virtually limitless, but the point is that everyone is involved. No one feels left out, and it's fun building community with a team that respects each other, helps each other, and feels safe. Another idea is to integrate community building with the academic curriculum. We know that learning the multiplication tables is a big focus, so group members can help each other with flashcards or games. Peer editing is also a great way for kids to help each other on their writing. obviously, I could go on and on with ideas, but for today, this is a good place to stop and let you absorb a ton of information. I don't want to overwhelm you because I want so much for you to see the beauty of creating a class that feels like home. Until next time, with more on community, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.